Touch rugby is the sport that's taking the world by storm. I met up with two players from the national mixed over-30s team in the build-up to the 2011 World Cup.
Sean, for how long have you been playing touch rugby now?
Started in '99. Well, 6-down touch rugby. I played one touch for a couple of years before that. And yeah, I've been playing non-stop since then.
And how many World Cups have you been to?
I played 2003 in Japan, 2007 South Africa, and we're going to Scotland now in 3 weeks' time.
Now, Steve, you're a coach as well. Who exactly do you coach?
I coach at junior level, and I coach provincial, and then I coach some of the national teams as well at junior level.
I understand that you play up to 3 games a day when it comes to the World Cup. I mean, how does your body deal with all of that stress and exertion?
Well, the conditioning and training beforehand is very important because it's 3 games a day for 5 days, so it's not just 3 games. It'll be much easier that way. You've got to train and make sure your body's prepared for it.
The teams have been training since last year April in between their busy schedules. Most players hold full-time jobs. They are committed to maintaining overall high levels of fitness.
A very important thing for you professional athletes is injury prevention. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
No, definitely. If you don't train correctly, I mean, you've got to start with the conditioning. If you don't start with the conditioning, then you're going to fall apart when you start trying to do the intensive training. Because it picks up as you get closer, it becomes faster, more plyometrics, which is more explosive, and that's where the guys pick up injuries if they haven't done the conditioning section properly first.
So you can't prevent injuries completely when it comes to touch rugby?
No, it's like any sport. You've always got the people can roll ankles and those kind of things, and I mean, fingers sometimes get dislocated, and you know, injuries are part and parcel of any sport, I suppose, but they're not usually too extreme.
Touch rugby, or touchies and sixies as it's also known, is a minimal contact sport. The game emphasizes running and agility rather than scrumming, kicking and tackling, which helps minimize injuries.
Now, we know injury prevention is very important, but I think that it's just as important is recovery. Now, in terms of supplementation, what do you use to make sure that you recover properly?
Certainly at my level, L-glutamine is absolutely necessary. Most people don't know it, but after a day of strenuous exercise, it takes you about 6 days of normal eating to restore your glutamine levels. And with the USN products, you can actually achieve that within an hour. And then, you know, at the junior levels, it's less important. We do warm downs and things like that, a bit of stretching afterwards as well.
Do you think it's possible at all to compete in the World Cup like this without the use of supplements?
I don't think so. I think you'd really be silly to attempt that.
With SA competing in 6 of the 7 World Cup divisions, including the women's and mixed gender categories, the players benefit from quality supplements that are safe, pure and effective like those from USN.
Take us through a typical day at the World Cup in terms of preparation, what supplements you take when.
Carbo loading is really important, so after breakfast you take a carbo load. Ultimately it's all about recovery. We really focused in terms of recovery, so we'll do ice baths afterwards. We'll take a protein shake, you know, your protein whey, and then your glutamine.
Sean, from your side, take us through a day at the World Cup in terms of mental preparations that you're doing.
Well, mentally you usually look at it a few days in advance what kind of day you've got ahead of you. Days where you've got 3 matches, for example, is completely different to a day where you've got 1 match.
On the first day of the tournament, this team will face opponents from Wales, Italy, as well as the defending champions, New Zealand. On the second day, they will compete against Australia.
Sean, advice from your side to people wanting to get involved in touch rugby, and also advice to your fellow teammates playing in the World Cup this year.
Well, getting into touch rugby, there's leagues and things like that. So, I mean, you can always just find a league in your local area and just join it. There are websites that can help you find leagues and those kinds of things. Going into the World Cup, yeah, I mean, advice is make sure you're ready. I mean, stop the niggles, make sure they don't stay, rest up well and have fun.
We wish the South African teams all of the best. Follow the games and results on touchworldcup2011.co.uk. Also join the USN SA page on Facebook for more on South Africa's sports ambassadors.